Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon everybody. I hope you're all having a fabulous day. At the beginning of this video, I'm going to say please watch and listen to the end. Now 99.999% of you in the comments yesterday did exactly that. There was an infinitesimally small percentage who didn't. One particular Russell Brand fan left a very rude comment saying, "Why am I attacking Russell Brand?" They'd clearly read the headline of the video and didn't realise that the entire video was in fierce defence of Russell. So I do urge, if everyone could, well, most of you guys who know me, you know where I'm coming from. And there's going to be a lot in this video, and this is going to be an edited one. I'd like to start with something which millions of people have already heard. You may not have heard this. And I will also end with this. I'd just like you to listen to this. This is not only under fair use and fair dealing, this is in the public's interest. This young lady has been seen and heard by millions saying the following.
I actually know who this is about, and I have the receipts. I was contacted in June by a journalist regarding a video I made about a certain celebrity and a weekend that we shared together. The video is kind of viral. It's on my page somewhere if you want to go see it. And that certain somebody was, as most of you will be aware, Mr. Brand. They weren't going to use my story because it didn't fit the narrative for their documentary, because he wasn't an arsehole to me. But here are some of the messages. Obviously, I will take out the person's name and stuff. We had a phone call. She contacted me for more information, and I didn't contact her back because I kind of felt like it would be mean. Anyway, there you go. Put your bets on. It's a documentary about the one and only Mr. Russell Brand. And just a fun fact. Astrology-wise, the lunar nodes of destiny have shifted into Aries right on top of his Mars and Moon. Written in the stars, baby. Okay, bye.
Okay, I don't really understand what that last part was about, but I think you get the gist. This is clearly an ex-girlfriend. I've made a list and I'm going to work my way through. And millions of people have heard and watched that. Millions. That's how I found it. Piers Morgan has tweeted, and at the end of his tweet he said that Russell is entitled to due process. Absolutely. Let's start with that, because I think what some people, whether they love or hate, and thank you very much everyone who's commented, those who love Russell, who are defending him, and equally those of you who've said, I can't stand Russell Brand, but I'm sick of this type of thing happening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It almost feels like the press for once are on the run. Yes, he is entitled to due process, and my point in the video yesterday was this is a subject where the victims should be going to the police and the justice system should be dealing with it, not the media. Those alleged victims or not victims or whatever they are, or anything to do with criminal investigations, or people who are victims of false allegations, they are not toys for the mainstream media press to play with. They are not toys, no matter who they are. Everybody is a human being and everybody has rights. And I am so proud of the millions of people, millions literally, sticking up for Russell and his rights. I honestly thought when I made the video yesterday I would be one of the few voices. I honestly thought that. I thought, here we go again. It's going to be the same old, same old. So Piers is right about that. I saw an article this morning. Sir Alan Sugar has defended him and said he's entitled. This is a matter for the police. Alan Sugar has been called thick as a plank by those witch hunters. And if people are willing to come to drastic conclusions without any justice process, you are a witch hunter. There are no two ways about it. No two ways about it. This morning, I see in the Daily Mail that they say more women have come forward, but they're not clear on what the allegations are, who the women are. It's all got to be investigated. All very blasé. One of you guys made the point and said maybe they're going to come out with something stronger later. Maybe they will. And if that's the case, then that has to go through the police. It has to go through the courts. Since when are the Times, the Daily Mail, or any mainstream media in charge of the justice system? Since when? Since never. That's when. I think that girl's name is Cara. Maybe one of you guys can dig out and find out who she is, because that's been reposted by literally millions of people all over the internet. That's the big one. A lot of people are bringing up the Andrew Sachs thing. There was a prank phone call years ago, Jonathan Ross, very childish prank phone call. Well, prank phone calls and rape, there's a big gap. So I don't really see the relevance in that, but feel free. Daily Mail are using photographs of Russell in his underpants, where he was filming a remake of the film Arthur. What relevance does that have? He's an actor, he's playing a part in his underpants. Oh yeah, let's make the point. I mean, it's disgraceful, as I said yesterday. He was in a film called Take Me to the Greek. Now, I will mention this. Meghan Markle was in that. She had a little bit part in that, apparently, as well. I just mentioned that for trivia. Now, I've never seen mainstream media so scared, running scared. Someone said to me yesterday, oh, of course the comments are turned off. It's a legal thing. Well, they obviously don't realise. A lot of the Meghan Markle Daily Mail articles, there's a lot of legal thing. There was a big legal thing about a letter she wrote to her dad a few years ago. They never turned the comments off. They do comments are moderated, and that will be their legal department. They don't just turn the comments off. Every single article, comments are turned off. I also noticed that some YouTube news channels, The Independent, they've had thousands of views, but only about 260 likes. It's really weird. Always seems to be around about 260 likes, which to me, and I've been on all the news YouTube channels watching the article about Russell. Comments turned off, right about 260 likes. Kind of makes me think there's about 260 people out there, you know? And they're little chickens and they turn the comments off. You know, if you're going to have a YouTube channel, turn the comments on, guys. Now, going back to the Andrew Sachs thing, the prank phone calls were in regards to the late Andrew Sachs' granddaughter, Georgina, who has given an interview to the Daily Mail, quite an interesting one, and I do feel sorry for her. She firstly said Russell was never violent with her. It was always consensual sex. What she didn't like was the prank phone call, and she did turn to drink and drugs, and Russell actually paid for her rehabilitation. Not that that's making it any better, but Russell has always been very open and honest about his problems, his addictions, and I have ordered his book. I can't remember what it's called, something like Bookie Wookie or Bookie Wook. I've ordered that. I'm going to read the whole thing from cover to cover and most likely do one of the many book reviews I've got stacking up. And I will read parts out in the context in which they're written. The actual words, I'll read them verbatim so you can make your own mind up. There was one person who said in the comments, I hope for your sake you're right. Wow, that sounds like a threat. So which part? Because let's separate this. Firstly, no one should be tried in the media or social media. Secondly, there's me as a person. I have a right to opinions, my thoughts and my feelings. This is my channel. I personally think there is no truth in it whatsoever that Russell Brand is a rapist. I don't believe it, and I'm entitled to that. But the other point I'm making is social media and mainstream media are not the place to be making trials. Which trials? So whoever posted that, I hope for your sake you're right. Get bent. I don't care what you think about that. I really don't. Your comments allowed, your free speech is allowed. How that person chooses to use their free speech is entirely up to them. I will highlight for the world to see any comments like that, like the sugars. Why are the sugars all over a video yesterday on Russell Brand? Why are they all over that? Isn't that an interesting twist? That's what made me think, you know, has Megan ever been in a film with Russell? There you go. Now, I'm also going to edit a video that I did about 18 months ago, just the end part of it, or I might put it up as a separate video in its own right, because I think it's a standalone piece, where I included at the end of it Elon Musk explaining the dangers of AI, the Blackadder guy, I can't think of his name now, Rowan Atkinson giving a speech on freedom of speech and referencing President Obama, saying if freedom of speech is suppressed, it can be used as a weapon to beat people with. I also used a visual image of Russell Brand and a quote from Ricky Gervais. So 18 months ago, and my closing words on that video were, be careful, they'll come for all of us eventually. Now, who's they? Who's they? I don't actually believe there's one great big blob organisation. I believe there are people and entities out there with money who have been using mainstream media by PR, paying a newspaper, put this puff piece out, put that puff piece out, promote this narrative, promote that narrative, tell the peasants that grass is actually purple. Let's see how much shit they'll swallow today. Yeah, let's just pump that out. Or people who are so rich they can afford to buy millions of bots to invade and infect social media like lice. Oh, tell them this, tell them I'm wonderful, tell them I'm perfect. And we've all been sitting there for years scratching our heads going, I'm not sure about that. I don't think that's true. Can I just question it? Which is very much what Russell does. Excuse me, can I just question that? And all of a sudden, he's a tin hat conspiracist, and apparently all of us who subscribe to him, me being one of his not only 6.6 million awakening wonders, this morning I see he's 6.61 million awakening wonders. So his subs are going up. Good. Because all the guy does is question things. He brings forward evidence and facts and makes comparisons and says, can this be right? Is this right? He's full of questions. But don't you be doing that, you free thinkers. Don't you be asking questions. You just accept what your Lord and Overmasters say. Aspen Institute report that was promoted by Harry. There was a big bit in it about how can we stop the plebs from looking for answers. We should promote local radio, which we can control a lot more. In other words, restricting the internet. Oh, I'm just a little peasant. I need those betters and elders to tell me what to do and what to think. So that's what I mean by they. People, not all rich people, but some rich people, I believe actually all political parties do it to a certain extent, get bots, get troll farms to push a particular narrative, as if we're all stupid and we can't form our own conclusions. I'd also like to say a big thank you to those of you who disagreed with me on the video yesterday, but were extremely polite about it and said, I believe it's true. Oh, go away, fly. I believe it's true, but you're just as entitled to believe it's not true. Absolutely. I wouldn't for a minute dream of dictating to people that they must believe Russell or disbelieve Russell. I wouldn't dictate anything to anybody. I mean, my God, I can't think who these people are who demand you agree with them on the internet. Good gracious. So I've got everything there. Now, there was a regular commenter, and I won't name them, but I was quite disappointed to see that they'd said, don't jump on a bandwagon, Fiona. So, why am I so interested in this? Apart from the fact I love Russell Brand, I'm sick of seeing this shit. Oh, look at that old picture of me. If anyone from the Daily Mail's watching. Do you remember the negatives where Graham proved that someone stole it from our caravan and it ended up in your newspaper? I've still got a copy of the cheque you paid out to compensate for that. Remember that one? I'll give the Daily Mail their fair dues. They did pull the photograph and they locked it safe away in a library. No journalist is even allowed to approach Graham to ask permission for it. They have to go to the editor-in-chief to ask for permission, to approach Graham to ask for permission to use the photo that was stolen by someone close to us, and gave it to the Daily Mail, and they believed that they had the rights for it. This is why I'm not jumping on a bandwagon. This is why. That's me. That's me. There's Graham, and there's our baby daughter. This is what date was this? God, I can't remember. Would have been January 2001, I think. I think Graham's cut the date off the top. 24th of January, I think. And that was the day that they ripped my baby daughter out of my arms and threw me into a hellhole in Spanish jails. And then I was released about 26 days later with the Spanish authorities going, my God, that wasn't a proper arrest warrant. We're so sorry, please don't sue us. Which I didn't, because I just thought, you know, life moves on. Here's another one. When I went back, not on the run, cat is back and pulling pints, yada, yada, yada. Right, let's see what this journalist said to this lady, shall we? And I'll put a screenshot up now so you can see it. And again, I'm using this under fair use and fair dealing. And I'm also using this as public interest because I think the public need to know this. Hi, Cara. I hope you don't mind me contacting you here. My name blacked out. And I am a journalist at the Times newspaper. We are currently working on a project in collaboration with Channel 4, and I've seen a post on your Tictok from a few months ago. Had wondered if it was something you might be able to help us with. It's fairly sensitive, so if you had a few minutes, it would be great to have a quick chat on the phone to explain in more detail. This would be strictly for research purposes only. Nothing at all for publication. Please let me know if this could work. And then there's another one. Looking into male celebrity and his behaviour towards women over the years, the reason it's hard for us to go into too many details is because it's at a sensitive stage and we're keen to protect everyone involved so far, presumably apart from Russell. For instance, we are worried about our message being shared more widely. It's why it's much easier for us to speak to people over the phone and helps build up trust and reassurance. I really hope this helps a bit, but above all, it's nothing for you to be worried about. So, it's nothing for you to be worried about. Well, I don't know about that part. But what I can do is play this again.
I actually know who this is about, and I have the receipts. I was contacted in June by a journalist regarding a video I made about a certain celebrity and a weekend that we shared together. The video is kind of viral. It's on my page somewhere if you want to go see it. And that certain somebody was, as most of you will be aware, Mr. Brand. They weren't going to use my story because it didn't fit the narrative for their documentary, because he wasn't an arsehole to me. But
so there you go. You can re-listen to the full thing at the beginning of the video again. So my point very much is, why do the media feel it's okay to destroy people's lives? I don't believe they're doing it for the good of any alleged victims. Of course they're not. Of course they're not. So those are my thoughts and opinions. Oh, and I'll also put, I'll read out a little bit of this, because I had some YouTuber claim that this is not mine and Graham's copyright, which it bloody well is. We interviewed Steve Skerritt, my arresting officer, years and years after I was supposedly on the run. Oh, by the way, I was never Britain's most wanted by Britain's police. I was dubbed that by the Daily Mail. That was a Daily Mail title, okay? I mean, I've let it all go, but I found this quite interesting. The Evening Argus, and I will put a link to this in the description, did an article when they saw that Graham and I had gone to the trouble to set up a little studio and interview Steve Skerritt, the arresting officer who chased me, who was subsequently arrested himself, removed from the police. He was arrested on suspicion of conspiracy to pervert the course of justice in another case. Mr. Skerritt, who resigned from Sussex Police several years ago, talks candidly about the investigation. He claims senior officers put pressure on him to catch Miss Mont. No, they didn't. They definitely didn't, because they fired him, you know. In the film, he says, in the scheme of things, you were public enemy number one. Why? I don't know. Which I always found a pretty cheeky thing for him to say. But the most important part of it, the YouTube video was filmed by Miss Mont's husband, Graham Hesketh. Mr. Hesketh flew Mont over the channel in a light aircraft after she was arrested in home in a flat in 1999. A lot of people have said to me, why go on the run? Last phone call I had with him, he said, I found a load of evidence on a computer. And I said, no, you haven't, because it doesn't exist. He said, I know it exists, I've just made it. And I said to him, well, you can't do that. Computers have got internal clocks. And he was a bit of a computer whiz. And he went, yeah, I know. I've changed the BIOS clock. I've changed it all. Dates all fit. And I thought, that's it. I'm out of here. You're the first people I've ever told that, actually. But as I said, I let it go a long time ago, but I still remember it. And the article ended, God bless the Evening Argus in Brighton. They do quote people verbatim exactly what they've said. They quoted me as saying, which I did, there are too many witch hunts out there, and I don't hear any voices publicly sticking up for any of them. All I hear is lynch mobs baying for blood. Well, until yesterday, I genuinely believed that, and you have restored my faith in mankind. Not only you guys, but the millions and millions of other people out there who are sick to the back teeth of mainstream media lying to us about everything all of the time, and then daring to call us tin hat conspiracy theorists when all we do is go, oh, excuse me, can I ask a question? No. What you just said about the grass being purple, I think it's green. Shut up, freethinker! Shut up! Accept what we say. No, it's over for mainstream media as far as I'm concerned. It's over. It's not just a question. I don't watch mainstream news and haven't for a long time. I go and read the odd article on particular subjects, but we no longer have Sky News on or BBC or anything like that. Those days are gone. Those days are gone. Anyway, as always, thank you very much for listening. And I would love to hear your free speech, thoughts and opinions in the public interest, in what you think, in the comments below.